Good morning, everyone. This is Laveena. So glad that you could join me. This is the introductory open house class for the Living Your Design Guide training program. If you're interested in becoming a certified Living Your Design Guide, then you're in the right place, because today we're going to talk about what that is, what you can do as a guide, how you can be the most successful as a guide, and how I can personally help you on that path, because I have been a guide for 4 years now successfully. I've been training and teaching this program for that whole entire time. I've also got some surprise gifts for you. I have got an oral lecture from a teacher in human design. Her name is Marianne Winiger. She's a splenic generator, and she was one of the first women to actually, persons to actually take the New Way Raw delivered readings, which was type, strategy, and authority. She took that and started to experiment with it, and she wrote a book on it. So this is something that I'm going to give to you at the end of this presentation, is her 2-hour aura talk with a PDF of the slide illustrations, so that you can be, whether you decide to join me or join anyone else for a Living Your Design Guide teacher training to be a guide, you can have this if you're entering the class with me or if you're already a certified pro. So just to let you know that is something that I can give to you. That's her gift from her to you. And there's also an additional workshop for LYD guides if you want to go into that. That is part of my slide presentation that I'm going to be doing later this week, which is how BG5 can help you succeed as a human design professional. And that's actually one of the things that I want to talk about, is that in this program, Me with You, it's going to be very different than all of the classes you've ever taken before. In that, there's a lot of practicum, there's a lot of mentoring, and there aren't going to be a lot of new slides for you. We're going to be going over how to teach the Living Your Design Guide, or the Living Your Design workshop. They call it a workshop. I like to call it an awakening program or an awakening experience, because who really wants to go to a workshop, right? You want to be able to, and this is me speaking as a contagion, cross of contagion. What works is infecting other people with your passion, with your recognition that this has a deep potential to transform someone's life. And so rather than calling it a workshop, which implies that you're going to, one event, workshop, rather than workshops, right? You're usually going to be teaching, most people will be teaching this program over a period of time, which is, there's 2 ways to teach Living Your Design workshop. And that is one all day, 2 days, over 2 days, a weekend course, or there's the extended version. In this program, I'm going to teach you the best practices that I've found for both of them. There's going to be audio from Ra Uru, who some of you who have already signed up have this audio training program where he teaches you how to do the LYD guide training, and he does it over his format, his structure that he gives you is the weekend course. So I'm going to go over how you do that, and then I'm going to go over how I've personally taken that 8 sessions. I'm going to teach you how to do the 8 sessions if you want to, but I'm also going to teach you how to do the 10 sessions. And I really recommend that if you're an emotional person, that you do the 10 sessions rather than the 8. Now, it does extend the time out a little bit, but there's going to be some tips and tricks that I will convey onto you that will help you no matter which format you choose to take. The weekend course, the take and teach, the weekend course, the 8-session course, or the 10-session course, okay? And I'll break that down for you. The other thing that I'm going to do for you in this is, on this slide, you're looking at my career design. So not only am I a certified analyst, an ABCs teacher, a cartography teacher, an LYD teacher, obviously, and now an LYD guide trainer, I also have taken a year of the BG5 Career and Business certification program, and I've also assisted with the foundations there twice, and I've also started OC16. OC16 is large business, BG5 is small business. So basically, it's all human design, but if we're looking at BG5, it's how are we homogenized in groups and how are we here to work together successfully so that we can make a profit. I know that all of you are here because you've recognized that human design can really help empower other people because you've seen it empower you yourself. But it's very different to go through all this training and have your personal experience be able to be transmitted to somebody else. Because when you do something for you, that's you and your experience. It's not duplicatable, not nearly exactly. However, everyone has openness in their designs. Everyone has places where we have wisdom potential. And this is the shift that I want you to make. If you're new to me and you haven't had any of my classes, you may not know this, but in your openness is where you have conditioning. It's where you have your deepest areas of shadow, your mind shadow, where you're perhaps making decisions that are not in alignment with your best interest, with your way, your unique way of moving through the world. Now, if we flip that and all this openness, rather than using it for personal decision making, we use the openness to advise other people our wisdom of how we see the world, what we recognize when, as an example, I'm recognized and invited. If you're a generator, when you're asked, when you have an opportunity to interact with another person, where you're having the communion of what it is to be a unique being that can see a differentiated perspective that is not invested personally in the outcome of the other person. So you're not leading them where you think they should go so that you can benefit. That's a really big, important key point and a switch for you, especially projectors, to make when it comes to utilizing this information for other people successfully. Okay, so when you can do that, when you can truly be there for the other and release any expectations of the result, whether they take it, whether they are successful with it, when you can be completely objective with your advice and you're speaking from the openness in your design, there are specific ways that you can utilize your advice for a profit. And that's one of the things that I'm going to instruct you upon once you're completed with the LYD guide training. Now, because we are mentoring throughout all this, and there's not going to be new slide presentations that I'm doing, we can have time for Q&A after. So the lecture pieces are going to be this time, this place, my regular Zoom room. So we're going to be able to see each other's cameras and talk to each other face to face. I'm going to help you look at your design and see where your profit potentials are. So on these two slides, I have some examples of the things that I'm going to be looking at your charts with you and showing you how to read this so that you know where your leadership characteristics are, how you're here to be creative, how your strengths perhaps, and your creative expression. This is mine on the slide, and these are my material ways down here. And I'm going to tell you, describe for you how you're here to sell and make money with the openness. Remember, you're not here to make decisions, personal decisions about your life and your life experience from the openness. However, everywhere you have openness, you have a potential for profit. And so those are the things that we're going to go over as a bonus. And that will help me help you become successful. And me as a projector, I'm deeply aware that I have the potential to contagiate you with enough knowledge that can make you successful if you resonate to the way that I teach and you're part of my tribe. So one of the things that you need to do as a Living Your Design guide, there's actually two things I want you to be very well empowered with when you go forward into the world teaching this information. You need to have a solid foundation, a grounding in the basics, the fundamentals of human design, so much so that you know at least 70% more than your students. That's a lot. And so to have this really well ingrained in your body, another thing that I'm going to provide to you besides the BG5 benefit of looking at your charts. So we're going to go through all of your charts from the financial aspect perspective, from the business and career consulting perspective, after you finish your certification. But another thing that you're going to need to do is know this stuff really well for you. So my invitation to you here personally as my student, this is not a public thing that I put out into the world. Once you've already shown me that you're invested in your personal education, this is one of my profit potentials. I'm selling you how to be educated. So you're going to be able to take any classes with me that I already teach, LYD, ABC, cartography, for free. You're going to be able to audit it for free. Normally I charge 50%. So that's my pricing to anybody who hasn't taken any of those classes. From the outside world, they want to come in, it's 50% so that they can be a part of the group, and they show me that they're invested in their education, that they're willing to put in the time, the energy exchange for me as a projector is important. But once you're part of my tribe, once you're part of us, Gate 21, selling, being worthy, being part of us, you are my tribe, and I want to make sure that you know this stuff. I have had the benefit of working for BG5, working for IHDS, working for Jovian Archive for many years now, and I've bought everything that you can possibly buy on Jovian Archive, or up until a year ago. I bought everything. I have everything on Jovian Archive, and I've listened to it over and over and over again. I know that hardly anybody out there has the ability to get all of that stuff and listen to it over and over again. I've just been obsessed. And you'll see some of the reasons why as we go through this program, why that happened and how I've managed to use it. But anyway, what reason I came to this slide, these are the 4 quarters. You can see them behind me as well. There's the Godheads. These are the actual definitions. And I want to show you this. This is where I am. My personality sun is gate 30. And these are the definitions that come up when you highlight all of the areas in the quarter. So what do you notice? I want to have you interact with me now, chat into the chat box. What do you notice about the quarter of initiation? Why is it called the quarter of initiation? What is its purpose fulfilled through? So go ahead and type into the chat. Oh, thank you, Helena. I woke up at 6. Yeah, mind. Thank you, Victoria, Veronica, and Kathy. Mind. It's purpose fulfilled through mind. This is the channel of initiation, a design of needing to be first. Needing to be first. Okay? These people, everybody with their personality sun, if your personality sun is here, you are here to, quote unquote, wake up first, is what Ross said. You're here to initiate this mind's process and educate other people, or be an example of however it is filtered through your design, to the people who are in the quarter of civilization, purpose fulfilled through form, who then take it to the people, and I should do that down here because here's the quarter of civilization, purpose fulfilled through form, and then take it to these people. Those people take it over here into the quarter of duality, purpose fulfilled through bonding, and then we have the quarter of mutation, purpose fulfilled through transformation. That's the way the energy moves in this wheel. So that's part of what I'm here to help you fulfill. And the way that I do that, help you in my personal fulfillment, the way that I do that in my design is that I'm the one who tells you what not to do. What mistakes have I made that I can transmit to you? I'm going to universalize that so that you can be successful. Okay? So the way that I do this is I figure out, I should say, yeah, openness, lots of openness, but I experiment with. This is the realm of actually having experiences, wisdom, potential, actually having the experience, making the mistake, and then learning from it. So there's going to be a lot of don't do this, and me personally sharing stories of how I managed to perhaps make mistakes out here, but yet learn what's the material way. If you look at all the third lines, and I have a lot of third lines in my design, third lines are the ones that have the determination to stand up and try again when they've fallen down on their ass perhaps and made a mistake, and they learn what really works on the material plane. So you can see that in my design, I have a lot of third lines in open or undefined centers. I'm going to sell you on these things because I know that that's what works. I have had the experience of that working. I know that there's a way that you can quit doing what you don't love and doing what you are passionate about, so that you can have the experience of living with a life of purpose rather than fearing you're going to die without fulfilling your purpose. You have an experience of succeeding and getting rid of that fear of failure, letting go of the fear of the past so that you can feel good. Being able to recognize the solutions, the patterns that you can repeat in order to provide an identification with this experiment for the other, recognizing how to improve upon this whole process of becoming a living your design guide and being able to transmit that either one-on-one if you decide to do that, if that's your way, or if you want to do it in groups, which is one of the ways that I'm here to do it. What happens to you in a group? What is the best way for you to be able to articulate and take this information out into the world? We're going to work with your guys' charts in this. So it's a deepening of a process of awakening to what you really are in this life, in this world, for yourself and for the other, and how you're going to be able to take this and transmit the flame that Ra, put out into the world, his passion, his fire, his initiation, his innovation, his impact. If you're a projector like me, we're here to master that system and help bring it forth into the world. If you go onto Jovian Archive, there's a video called Clarion's Call. If you're really interested in taking this out, I highly recommend that you listen to this, because it can be very, very impactful. It's one of the first videos that I watched that I went, oh my God, this is it. This is what I found it. I found the thing. I found the concept I can really be sure of, which is one of my wisdom areas, my profit potentials. I'm here to sell you on education and what you can be certain of. So the other pieces, I could keep talking about how I'm here to be a leader, how I'm here to lead you through recognizing, remembering, sharing what I remember from the past. I'm here to jumpstart your business. That's what a 14 does. I'm here to give you the right rhythms and routines that are going to make you successful. I'm here to support your recognition of what's going to be most nourishing for you and your tribe. I'm here to help you not start things, but bring to a cycle of experience at the ending of something. So quit doing that stuff that you're doing over there that you hate, and come on over here and do the thing that you love, which is helping people. Human design can really, really help people. You've noticed, right? If I could go, I was looking last night at my pictures on my cell phone. And at some point I'll do this, maybe at the end of this course, but I've been inspired for a while going over all these old pictures of me and seeing that I do not look like the same person 10, 11 years ago that I do now. And I was really deeply, deeply miserable, unhappy to the point of wanting to kill myself on a regular basis. Like, this was just my mind's process of coping. Oh God, I just want to end it all. It's just too miserable to be here. Only the not self suffers in this life. Only the not self yearns and longs for something that it is not. So if you learn enough of this stuff, this human design system, there's this common quote that Ra has out there. The thing is what he says is, there's a big difference, I'm paraphrasing, between learning human design and living it. So what you guys are, if you choose to join me on this journey, and here's all my friends here, you guys who are my first class going through this experience with me, you brave soldiers, you. I'm looking at Kathy, and I know she's got that history is also a gate 26, which is soldiers of fortune, the people who are here to really, money making. I'll show you. There's a couple of different concepts I want to share with you right now. But there's a really important thing that's happening. Here is the stream of capitalism. So whatever you've got in your design, whether you've got a piece of this, just one gate, maybe you've got a whole channel like Kathy, that's what I was talking about here. Design of a transmitter, channel of surrender. Maybe you've got it completely open and you've got your life cycles that are influencing you now at this time. Making money with human design is something that you can absolutely do as long as you're fully committed to yourself and your experiment, and you're ready to just surrender to the fact that if you trust it, it will provide for you. And I'm not promising this from my lips. I'm transmitting something to you that I heard him say to a group of individuals who were studying to become analysts. The moment that you decide to give up doing anything that you're frustrated about, if human design really is your passion, doing anything that doesn't really serve you as a being, your unique path and purpose, if you get on board with the resonance of your vibratory frequency and you begin things correctly, you're going to find that life gives you what you need. It's one of the things that he transmits in the 64 material ways. Life will provide for you. Life will give you what you need if you can surrender to the design. So this decision that I'm telling you about, it cannot come from a mental place. It has to come from your strategy and authority, okay? And then you get what you need. So I'm going to help you in every way that I can with this. And one of the ways I'm telling you that works is what Ra was saying, going back to that quote. Learning human design is not the same as living it. So for me as an emotional projector, it took me a long time to experience actually making correct decisions, because as a projector, there is no immediate invitation to the correct living environment, career, love of your life, friendships. It just doesn't happen, because in the beginning, when you come to your experiment, you are transferred, and that's if you haven't heard of that term, we'll talk about it in this course. You're transferred over to a motivation that's not correct for you. Your perspective is not clear. You're distracted over to a way of seeing that's not correct for you, and it seems so profound, like that's the way that you have to make decisions. All the openness, it takes some time, especially for an emotional projector, takes some time to process and really get the experiences of what it's like to live and be yourself. And once you have the capacity to change your vibratory frequency, which takes time, right? 7 years of that cellular deconditioning process, it takes time for the cells to renew themselves and to let go of the old habits, the old patterns, the old routines, the conditioning from the openness, the adaptive strategies, the illusion that your mind builds based on your openness is something that takes time and experience in order to process what it's actually like physically in your body, to make decisions from the not self, to make decisions from the true self. So one of the things that I need to transmit to you, if you're going to take this seriously, and if you're paying $1,850 to join this class with me, you are taking it seriously. I can see that you're invested in your education and that you truly want to help other people. If you have had the experience of living your design and you have the cellular awakened experience that you can then transmit to another person, that's what's going to be successful as a living your design guide. So I do not want you to enter this program if you do not feel or recognize that you are making decisions correctly as yourself, because that's the first step. You need to be a living example of this knowledge embedded into your DNA. The process of awakening transforms your cells in a way that makes it so you have a different frequency that can be transmitted to another person. So that's what works. You have to be deeply involved in your own personal experiment. You have to be awakened to at least what it's like for you to make decisions correctly as yourself. And this is one of the things I know that Ra said in multiple different classes and such. He would say, how many of you have I watched over the years and you still can't follow your design? So if you're attempting to become a teacher, an educator, a guide, an example However it is that you're designed to be an example. Some of you, you're here to be examples in different ways. I had no idea in the beginning of my experiment that the small group environment would be my favorite place to teach, my favorite place to be, because anytime it would be my turn to speak when I first became involved in human design community, even though I'd spoken on stages before, I would get really nervous and uncomfortable and afraid my voice would quaver. I would never have imagined being able to do this with you guys, where we're in an environment where I see all your pictures and I know that you're listening to me and paying attention, that I would have confidence in my voice. So there's a change. I recognize that this happens, that, it took me a few years to get comfortable with this idea. And then once somebody, this was Alok, initiated me into teaching, because he invited me right out of class. Hey, let's go. Let's do this. I'll come in. I'll teach one of the classes for you. He didn't even ask for any money. He just wanted to be a special guest. He wanted to get me started. He recognized something in me. I can't thank him enough, because otherwise my 48 would have been so afraid and so fearful that I didn't have enough depth. My Ajna center would have said, I don't want to have anybody ask me a question that I don't know the answer to. I can't do this. I'm not good enough yet. There's something wrong with me still. I don't know if I'm really living my design. All of the not self-mind crap. The other part, the other component of the class that you guys are going to need to do is that, now this is something that you have a requirement of attendance. You need to be able to show that you can deliver the information. So there are going to be practicums. They're called practicums. And we're just going to do these practicums with you guys delivering the basic slide presentation that you can buy from Human Design Canada, or you can make your own. It's completely up to you. So you can either buy it from Human Design Canada, have those slides and play with them and make them yours, or you can create it from scratch if you want to, using images you find off the internet. Totally up to you. I do advise, particularly if you're a projector, just buying the slide presentation from Human Design Canada and then modifying it, because it's a lot less work that way. It has all the basic fundamentals on those slides. So those are the slides that I'm going to want you guys to deliver from, or your own version of it, okay? This is the science of differentiation. I completely understand if you want to take this and do your own. You are here to transmit it in your own way. So there's one more component of the Living Your Design Guide training program. One more, and that is to audit an actual class that is being taught by a certified guide. Now, you do not have to audit my class. You can choose to audit any other teacher out there. Depending on who they are, they might ask for an audit fee. Okay, because the requirement is that they're going to need to meet with you after class and hear from you what you saw that worked, what you had any questions on, what you recognized that didn't work. So there's a component of interactivity with this last piece, and that is the observational piece. So there's the educational piece, the mentoring piece, where we're going to go over all of the different ways you could teach these presentations, deliver the information, the tips and tricks for being successful delivering it. And then you're going to practice it. And you're also going to have given the opportunity to observe. So I hope that you guys have had a fun experience today. Even though we didn't have the same level of interaction like we normally do in classes, we'll do that for the rest of all the classes. So I want to thank you for being here and just say, until next time, love yourself. Bye for now.